I'm violating streamer rules again and starting on time. Hello. Good morning, Jamie. I know it's for a fact it's morning for you, so good morning. Yeah, here we go. Doing it again from the shop. I haven't actually I've done a modest camera check, but I haven't actually checked the framing. How we do it. I had to move a whole bunch of stuff around. So I hope we're okay. Let me look at you should be able to hear me. So there's been some, of course, there's been some changes because I cannot. Hello, Slug fan. How you doing? Yeah, Twitch police starting on time. I know. I know. We're not. It's should not be doable. I have my cold coffee, but at least it's coffee. Oh, I'm seeing it's not drop frames. I think I'm just out of sync with my refresh rate on my monitor here. I don't think it's dropping frames. There's no drop frames reported. Let me know if you see these weird pauses. It might be the camera. I don't know. I've changed everything around. So we're not using NVIDIA Broadcast for anything anymore. So the mic filter isn't going to happen anymore. So you're going to hear like the hair dryer. I have not played Battle for Bikini Bottom yet. I have been so busy, let me tell you. Nothing I can see on this end. Okay, good. If and when I do, it's still going to be a ways away. So take a deep breath, but don't hold it because I'm not sure if and when I'm ever going to get to it, but I'll let you know if and when I do. Purple Cheesecake Zebra, good morning. Or actually, it's probably not morning for you, but thank you for acknowledging my morning. How about that? Yeah, puppet buildings. Those of you on the Discord know what I've been going through. This past weekend was supposed to be something, and then it wasn't. Because of a freak fog storm, I guess. I don't even know what you call that. We're supposed to go to New York City this weekend and have our first vacation since 2019. Didn't happen. Flight got canceled. It was bad. Fog event. Yes, exactly. Here's the funny part is I back in the 18 minutes when I had a TikTok, I actually did a little video one day that's like because I looked at my phone in the morning and it was like fog advisory and I'm like I looked out the window and yep, there's fog out there. And I'm like, so okay, there's some fog, thanks, right? And I just had an idea that it would be funny to have Frankie do that, right? Just like look at his phone, fog event, look at the window, look at the phone, look at the window. Yep, that's fog. And that's the whole joke, right? Now I feel that karma has come back and bitten me because there was a fog advisory and it actually meant something. It means the planes can't land or take off. So my flights got canceled. We unfortunately, because of that, yeah, karmic retribution, exactly. Because of that, we couldn't cancel our hotel quick enough. And so we were on the hook for that because we'd already paid for it. So that was an expensive weekend to go nowhere, and it's very unfortunate, and I'm still bummed about it. But it's okay. We're going to try again in the spring. We are back to puppet building hardcore. I've got 2 commissions currently on the go at the same time, so I really should get to it. But first, some coffee. Yeah, the island airport, there were no planes. There were no planes on the ground. Planes could actually have taken off, but they couldn't land, and there were just no planes because we were at the island airport in Toronto. There's a Billy Bishop. It's this little, really quite nice. We have two main airports in Toronto. One is Pearson, which is the big one out in the suburbs. And that place is a nightmare hellscape. And then there's Billy Bishop, which is a nice, almost like little bijou airport. And if we have a choice, if we're flying anywhere, which happens so rarely, but if we do, we always try and make sure that we're flying out of Billy Bishop instead of Pearson. But because it was so small, and because the visibility was less than 0, I mean, it was Scarlet may be familiar with this phenomenon. We don't get a lot of fog around here, but Scarlet in the UK, of course, all the UK gets lots of fog, and they're used to some proper fog out there. This was like Stephen King level. Like there should have been werewolves coming out of this fog because it was just you couldn't see more than a few feet in front of you, kind of thing. It was just less than 0 visibility. So there was no choice. It just happened. So weird freak things that were bad. Yeah. Yeah, Jamie lives quite close to Billy Bishop, so it's like, yeah, that would be great. But again, we'll try again in the spring. It was just a bummer. Still went out to dinner, still got dressed up, and we get some good fog over here. Yeah, I thought so. Usually clears after the morning. Yeah, that's what, again, it's the rare times we do get, of course, now with climate change and, it changing seasons in 4 or 5 hours, we're getting it more often now because warm and cold air mix. And that's what creates fog. This was just not going anywhere, though. This just like stuck around, which is very, very rare for around here. So anyway, let's get to some puppet building, huh? So what have I got going on? I should put the build pick thing back up. I don't have that anymore. I should probably do that. But what I'm doing, this week I have 2 builds on the go. I have 2 commissions, and one's a Nerney and one is a small. And they're both custom versions of those. So I'm building the internals. Hey Dorak, how you doing? Thank you for dropping by here. He slips into Frankie right away. I don't know why. I see Dorak and immediately I slip into Frankie. So also, because I'm not using NVIDIA Broadcast anymore, I don't have the follow cam. I can actually go out of frame and nothing happens. I've been on some long walks in the moors. Oh, see, you're just making me want to go to the UK. I would like to go for long walks on moors. I absolutely would do that. I have such the wardrobe for that. I can't even tell you. Thank you, Dorak, yes. Need a compass to find your car. So it was being crashy, and it was just another thing that I had to update, and I'm trying to my philosophy of to never rely on a plugin for anything mission critical. So I'm trying to take things out of the pipeline to simplify everything, and it was just another thing in the pipeline because it adds another layer onto the audio as well as video. So it's just like, who needs it? One thing I can see is that this camera needs to go there. There we go. Yeah, I'm trying to make everything about all of my video pipeline for streaming simpler. Because because it's me, I get into the weeds and I get it all complicated and stuff, but I'm trying to avoid that. So the first thing I got to do, since I'm building a Nerney, I've got to build Nerney hands. And I have a new technique for doing the finger wire armatures, and I thought that would be fun to show on stream because it is the least fun part of any puppet build, and every puppet builder I think that I've ever talked to or has expressed an opinion on this feels the same. Hands are the worst. Hands are the absolute, doesn't matter if it's live hands or rod arm, it's just doing fingers because it's so fiddly, right? Because you have to go around the fingers and they're small and they're not interesting. Faces are interesting, fingers aren't interesting. And so they take a lot of time and it's just like, this is the tedium part. And so of course, making the wire armature that goes inside the hands, the way I usually do it, I've got, the foam, and then we have the hand plate here, and then the wire armatures actually that's the wrong way around. Here we go. The wire armatures get hooked into this, and then they go out to the fingers, and then you sandwich those between 2 of these, and then you seal it up and everything. And there's a whole, if you've watched the stream before, you've watched me do that dozens of times. The tedious part is really twisting the wire. So what I'm doing lately is I'm pre-twisting. I'm getting a whole bunch of wire and I'm taking a drill and I'm just twisting a whole big long length of wire and then I'm just cutting it to pieces and then hooking those. The problem you always want to avoid with using any kind of wire in a build like this is you want to avoid the sharp edges, right? Because you don't want those poking through the foam, and they will work their way out eventually and cause problems. So you want to make sure that you sort of crimp and round off. Koya, hello, nice to see you. Wow, lots of people here today. I also don't know if the compressor is working, so if I get loud and it is loud in your headphones or whatever you're wearing, then I apologize. I'll have to check that stuff. As usual, didn't have time to prepare a whole lot, and since we took NVIDIA Broadcast out of the pipeline, I'm not sure what the compressor situation is, so I may get loud. I apologize. I thought it was going to be late, but it seems like not. Nope. We're just getting, well, I'm also rambling as usual, so, you know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make those lengths of twisted wire and then cut them into pieces, and then we hook them in, and I'll fold over the ends and crimp them so they're not pointy. Could you cover the ends, the wire in heat shrink? Yeah, absolutely, for sure. That, again, takes time, and you could only do it on one end, right? Because I have to hook one end into the plate, and then the other end is loose. Thank you, Dorak. It doesn't work, it doesn't work, yeah. But yeah, I could do it on one end, but not the other, right? I couldn't heat shrink on this end because it's just right up against the plastic. So, you know, that would melt the plastic. But it's just as easy to just fold them over, crimp them. Sometimes I'll hit some hot glue on them and give them a little bit of a cap. A little sort of blob of hot glue on there just to sort of seal it off and make sure that there's no ends poking through. But I'll make that determination when the wires are on and see if it needs it. Probably not. If I do this right, I won't. So I actually obviously prepared a whole bunch of stuff ahead of time. I like that everybody is saying hello to each other in chat. See, we're friendly. We're puppet people. We know. We have manners. It's good. So there's, of course, small. Here's the nurney. I'm just going to get all this stuff out of the way because to do this, to twist the wire, I actually have to get the vise and a power drill out. So we got to have power tools going here. So I'm just going to move all this stuff over to a more out of the way place. Kermit can hold all that stuff. I'm going to have another sip of coffee. Because we got to get the drill out. So let me see. I think maybe this may be the camera for that because you get a wider angle view. Oh, I hope you all are doing well. Hope you had a better weekend than I did. Wouldn't be hard. We didn't stream this weekend just because I was kind of bummed out. So I was like, Frankie is fun and I can't be fun right now. But I'm sure we'll figure out something for this weekend. We did still play video games though, and that was fun. Must not forget, actually, I got us on the drawing of you and Frankie. I forgot about it too, but thank you. Yes, that would be awesome. Oh, okay. So let me plan for this. So what I need. Ooh, we're for chemo. Sorry to hear that. Making it good to hear. Is a good thing to hear. So here is the wire that I use. Let's go back at this camera just for a sec. This is the finger armature wire. This is 18 gauge, I think. 19 gauge. 19 gauge, just stainless steel. Real simple stuff. Just get this at a hardware store. All right, coffee is gone. Time for gum. Because mint coffee is gross. Forgive the chewing noises. Since they don't have the video broadcast filter, you may actually hear mouth noises. Ooh, stomach virus. That does not sound fun. Yeah, our Discord folks will be aware that I had my first dinner out at a restaurant. We thought, if we're not going to get to New York, we're still going to go to dinner. Got all dressed up. I just went to a local place, which was fantastic. My first restaurant since the pandemic started. A little nervous, but we got there. It's fine. I don't believe we caught COVID. It wasn't very busy, so. I have still yet to get COVID. I know it's going to happen at some point. Stay tuned to the Discord. Here we go. Hang on. All right. Yeah, let's see if this works. Boom. So join the Discord and you can find out all about when I catch COVID. I'll announce it there first because I'm not on Twitter anymore. Those of you who are not on the Discord may not know. That yeah, I couldn't stick around to watch it die a slow and horrible death. So, for reasons that if you don't know, it's probably better that you don't know. So let me just sort all this stuff out. Got it twice now. It sucks. Yeah, I am shocked. This is so weird that the camera isn't following me. I am quite surprised that I've managed to avoid it. I mean, I work from home, you know. I haven't had any real in-person socializing. Thankfully, been able to have Jamie and his partner over for dinner a couple times, which was delightful, and we shall be doing more. Well, then again, this coming January, yeah, I'm still masking in public for sure. I mean, wouldn't it be funny if I never did catch it? I'm so unbelievably vaccinated. I'm at, I think, 5. I've had the bivalent. I've had everything. We're going to raise this up a little bit. Get the vise going here. Let me see. Is there an angle I can put this at where it can be seen on camera better? Maybe this actually might work. Let's see. But what I got to do is get out my drill. We have our bivalent vaccination next week. Yeah, every time first time I got it, the vaccine, not the virus. The first time I got my vaccine, the reaction was terrible. It was like literally 2 days of just horribleness. And every time it's been getting milder and milder and milder. Oh yeah, no, we got N95s. My wife found some really good N95s that they're like I don't even know, they call it like a fish lip style, but they're very light. They're easy to put on and take off. And they give a lot of room inside without having to wear like a mask frame. So we just loaded up on those. Oh, this is the wrong thing. I should have known what it said, Dremel. Because see, it says Dremel. That means it's not a drill. That's in fact the case for my Dremel. Go figure. Crazy talk. Okay, this I think is my drill. Oh yeah, no, Jamie is, for those of you who don't know, Jamie is a Disney aficionado. A true believer, as it were. All right, here we go. So, let me just plug this in. Make sure I don't accidentally turn it on before I'm ready. Stay tuned for that fun. So what I'll do, I don't know how well you can see this. See if I can get the heck out of the way. I'll make this as visible as I can. Probably not going to be very. Because I'll take a long length of wire as I feel I can reasonably handle. Actually, let's just do this whole freaking thing. So we got this big old piece of wire, and I try and neatly fold it in half. Ha, 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 ha. He says with a hollow laughter. It's really easy to injure yourself with this stuff because it's basically a giant needle. So be careful if you're playing with this stuff at home. Okay, so I'm basically folding it in half. Trying to get as tight a fold as I can. And then we're going to take the ends and clamp those in the vise. This ends up in a little bit of wastage, but not much. Certainly enough to justify the enormous amount of time saving. And so now we've got this big piece of wire clamped into the vise, and you got to make sure it's really solid because this could get dangerous. Are you ready to watch me injure myself live on the internet? Okay, so the other end There's no bit in the drill. We clamp that end into where you would otherwise put a drill bit. Okay, and make sure that's nice and tight. And then, I know this is not the cleanest shot, but I'll try and get it as good as I can. Then, now thankfully this is a variable speed drill, so I can start slow and pick up the pace. Then we just turn the drill on. Look at that. And we get, I absolutely love this. This is the best. This big long length. Let's go to the top cam, see if get a better shot of this. This beautiful, straight, twisted wire. Look at that. How good is that? So now all we did was just cut this into the pieces of the right length. And, you know, we're good. No, it's all right. It's all right. It's all good. Talk about, I'd rather have an active chat than nobody chatting. You know, even if you're not chatting about what I'm doing, we're just hanging out. That's the whole philosophy of this stream. Talk about your Disney. It's all good. So I'll probably have to do more of this, but that is my handy technique for making finger armature wire. You have to do the twisted thing because otherwise that wire can break really easily. So if you reposition the fingers a few times, if you only do like one length, that wire can break. But if you do it like this, it's super strong. That'll hold up to quite a few. Hello, Travis. Oh, the regulars is showing up. That's nice. Travis, you just missed my my handy finger wire tip. You may want to watch the VOD back again, or you may already know it. But making twisted wire with a drill and a vise. Okay, let's go back to the top cam. We'll drop this back down. And it's getting a little warm in here. May want to open that window momentarily. So let me grab some hand foam and a hand plate. So now all we do is, let me grab some pliers. Probably should grab another pair of pliers. But actually, the first thing I should do is trim off the ends because we always have a little bit of extra on the ends here that don't get twisted because they're the ones that clamped either in the vise or, oh, okay, that one flying. That could have been dangerous, but it wasn't, and we're fine. Don't panic. There we go. Okay. Should try and find where those flew to because I don't want the cat finding them before I do. Always a possibility around here. Okay, so I saw when I was forcing down good old coffee. Yeah, I gotta get some more coffee myself. I'm all out. I just drank my last bit of the morning batch. So the way I do this is I measure out just a little bit longer than I need and then just cut it there. I don't even mark it. I just cut it. And then we want to fold over, just make a little fish hook on the end. put that through the hole. Clamp it down. Now these are all going to get glued in later, so you don't really have to worry about firmly attaching it too well. The more important thing is that you make sure that there's no sharp ends poking out. See what our length is like. That looks good. So that we're just going to fold over the other end, crimp it so we don't have the pointy bits pointing. And when I've got the hot glue gun fired up to put the arm rod on, I may blob a little hot glue on there just to make sure that we don't have pointy bits. It's a little bit long, but at this point that's okay because that will all depend on where we position. But you see how that's poking out past the end there? I think maybe I'll just take care of that right now. It's better that it's a little short than a little long. So let me just snip that off. And since this is a small, sharp bit of metal, I'm not throwing this in the garbage. This is going in the sharps container. Pro tip: never throw sharp bits of metal into the garbage. So this is probably going to be a little short, but that's okay. It's really only important that the finger bends at one joint. There we go. There we go. Perfect. Look at that. So yeah, you don't want it to go right to the end. You just want it to go far enough that when you can bend that and you can make one little joint in the finger. That's all. I missed what JB is 100% not trolling about. You think I'm scrolling back in my own chat. You got another thing coming. So anyway, those who have watched me make hand inserts before will understand how much of a time saver this is. Oh, okay. All right. Oh, afraid I gotta disagree there, Dorak. I am Last Jedi stan. That is my absolute favorite. Quickly followed by Empire. Last Jedi was frickin' brilliant. But I like deconstructing things. I like, because he messed with it. He tried to sort of approach things from a different angle than anybody else has done, and I really appreciated that. It was challenging, and that's something that you don't often get in Star Wars. Andor is being like that a little bit. Andor's got some depth to it that you don't normally see in a Star Wars production. The JJ films were, I mean, I can't believe we're talking Star Wars. Oh no. What is this? Look, Jamie, there's something for you to do. I don't know if you're on YouTube. I can ban them, but wow. It's our first bot, everybody. Congratulations. We did it. I've had Russian spam before, but never like that. Wow. I don't think I'm a mod on YouTube. Oh, okay. All right. Hang on. Let me see if I can. That has actually made my day. Also, note to self, make Jamie a mod on YouTube. I'll turn that off because that was going out. Okay. Wow. How do I ban them? I can add them as a moderator. No, not going to do that. Remove? Just the message was removed, but I can't ban the individual user? Hide user on this channel. Well, we'll start there. Okay, whatever. Thanks, YouTube. Mod the spam bot. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Duroc, I absolutely agree. I am so ready to move on from Skywalker stuff. I have written whole like role playing game scenarios of like, here's what happens in the future. That is happens absolutely nothing. I think turning Rey into like some weird Skywalker adjacent relation was the worst decision. I mean, I was so happy when not JJ, when Rian Johnson gave them the opportunity to just make her nobody, because that would have been correct. Anyway, I'm getting angry about Star Wars on the internet. What is it, 15 years ago? No. Thank you, Scarlett. Yeah, weird. Okay. I'll figure it out after the stream. We will ban the bot, don't worry. At the moment the bot is hidden. There was hot girl spam. To be in my youth again and have hot girl spam. Something. That joke only works in Frankie's voice. All right. Well, we won some kind of award getting our first actual spam bot. We made the big time, kids. We're almost at like, I just looked this morning and I forgot the number. We're almost at like 620 YouTube subs. That's all right. Never actually thought I'd get that far. I don't even know what metric to look at anymore. It's all a mess. That's why we need marketing. All right, there we go. There's a hand insert. Plan on releasing any new patterns for the holidays this year? Not for the holidays. My holidays, I'm not even going to do holiday builds this year. I was originally thinking I would, but so no is the short answer. I'll probably do some more patterns in the coming year, though, for sure. Patterns aren't really cost effective for me, unfortunately. I wish they were, but Frankie shocked face is the thumbnail. Yeah. Red arrow circle, exactly. It takes quite a lot of time to, well, A, to develop a pattern, but also to put it into a package that's like user friendly, and it takes quite a lot of time to do that, and just sales have not been good. I know I talk about this every stream, but it's like sales have been really bad for the past 2 months. So I got to spend my time doing things that are going to bring a bigger return on my investment, as it were. So I'm just going to build like my normal stuff for the shop. I'm not even going to do holiday builds because it has a limited window of appeal, right? I've still got the Halloween smalls didn't sell. And it's the economy right now. It's all right, Travis. It'll pick up. It'll change. I mean, I'm working on 2 commissions right now as we speak. Like it'll be fine. It's just that I'm at the point now where I have to start thinking a little bit more focused, right? So that's what it's going to be for the next couple of months. Hopefully it'll pick up a bit next year, and we'll continue on with some more fun experimental stuff. In the meantime, it's going to be a lot of like outreach for me. I'm just trying to like grow the audience and get more eyeballs. That's the big focus for me right now, is building smaller scale stuff for the shop. So just my usual stuff like the Greelys and the Smalls. They always sell. And I don't have any of those up right now. So, that, and also just bringing more people in, because social media isn't such a state of chaos right now. it's a little hard to figure out where can I go, to that I can stomach that is going to bring people in, and that's the important thing right now. Ah, this is a joke. Scarlett made a joke, everybody. The ping pong ball joke. I hope on the VOD you're watching the chat as well. Otherwise, that won't make any sense at all. But yeah. Well, and I mean, also, this is why, like, in the new year, we're going to be launching a new podcast. If I haven't, I'm sure I've talked about that here before, but there will be an Operation Puppet podcast called Pixels and Puppets, where we talk about, now hold on to your hats, puppets and video games and media and other nerdly pursuits. Just all the stuff we usually talk about on stream and stuff like that. So there may be a whole new audience right there, right? Thank you, Travis and Orak. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, and that is the thing, right? It is now, we have a little community now, which is fantastic, and it's just a matter of building, right? We have a solid foundation here, and we just got to just keep on keeping on. That's my philosophy. I'm not in so much financial distress that I am at danger of not being able to pay my rent or something. So I'm okay. It's just a little storm we got to ride out. That's all. I do actually have Operation Puppet username on Mastodon, just because I was just trying to sound it out and go, all right, what's next? What's coming? Boy, that thing is. I admire some of it, but it is just so impenetrable that I don't, this ain't it. Whatever's next, it ain't Mastodon. I appreciate that Mastodon is like a small community and stuff, and that's real cool. And it is this very much community focused kind of thing. But I got Discord for that, you know what I mean? Always donate more coffee, yeah. And that's really, as y'all on the Discord know, that's where I've been hanging out mostly lately, is on Discord. Discord's kind of taken the place of Twitter for me. Because again, it's small, it's community focused, it's like you know the individual people, you know what I mean? Charge £1 per chat message. I don't know, Scarlett, you'd end up owing me a lot, you know what I'm saying? Yes, 7 potatoes more. That's a very good point, and that is one of the hard things for me. Is like if I could maintain a more consistent schedule, right? I mean, like we're doing it on a Tuesday today. We usually do it on a Wednesday. That is an absolutely valid point, and maybe we'll try and figure out a way to do it more consistently. Well, I mean, once we get the podcast going, that's going to have to be consistent. Actually, don't need that money for puppets. Exactly, Scarlett. I'd rather chat be free, but the puppets pay the bills. You know what I mean? But yeah, a consistent schedule is definitely important. You are not wrong. And that is one thing I can definitely work on. It's just so hard, because I'm so busy, and it largely depends on how well I sleep, which is unpredictable. And I'm also trying to avoid creator burnout, right? If you get too in the weeds with that stuff, then you can really burn yourself out. And I am at an age where burnout happens real quick and easy. Hey, new follower slash sub. I don't know what platform that was on, but thank you. I missed the username. Thank you very much. Speak up in the chat if you are the new person, and that way I can see what platform you're on too. I gotta make different alerts for the different platforms. 600 chest gets you 1 free puppet. Ah, see, I think you've got an agenda there, Scarlet. Thanks for showing up, Dorak. Appreciated. Enjoy it. I hope you feel better. All right. Well, since I've been yakking, these hands are nearly done. That's pretty good. How are we doing here? This one's a little bit long still. I'm gonna shorten that up a bit. Okay, here we go. Hand inserts done. So, and we still got a little bit left over, so that's good. This is the only, of the 2 puppets I'm building this week, this is the only one that's going to require finger armature, so that is that. What's next? I've got all the bits. Oh, I know what's next. I need to make finger loops. I usually make these in batches. These are all I have left. And I think for the moment, rather than making them batches, I'm just going to make what I need. I need a total of 4, and I have 3. So I only need to make 1. I think that's what we're going to do right now. I have some leather that I cut before. Now, this might actually work. That should work. Put that on a base. Try this. I'm not sure that this leather is long enough. Is this one longer? They're probably the same. They are the same. We'll try this one, and if I have to cut another piece, I will. Right, time to get the sewing machine out. So let's go to, I guess, this camera. Gotta make 1 more finger loop, because each of these puppets are going to have a loop in the top, loop in the bottom. Time is it? Only 10:45. It feels like more. I gotta be honest. That feels wrong. I think time is moving differently again. All right. We're just so efficient at this. Unbelievable efficiency. So. Got to sew these together, making sure that the unfinished side is out. Color doesn't matter, this is all internal. Oh, I asked about making those with fake leather before. I tried it and they seemed all right. Good to know. Yeah, as long as it's like you've got kind of a rough edge or side that will kind of grip on things, including, you know, on one side the finger and on the other side the glue that you're gluing it down with, then it should be fine. You can use a lot of different things. Leather is just so strong, but then again, so is artificial leather, that it's a really good candidate for this kind of thing. But that's good to know. Oh, easy there. Whoa. All right. Bet you could hear that. How's that? That's pretty good. Yeah, that's plenty of room. Okay. There we go. We got all the finger loops we need. Yeah, the pedal was at an odd angle and I kind of hit it too hard. Also streaming. Gosh, now what? Well. Oh, I know. Arm rods. Of course I know. I'm the one doing it. I literally have 2 arm rods left, but thankfully, that's all we need. And I gotta make another batch of these. It's so weird to have the camera not follow me. But what we gotta do with these is we gotta put the heat shrink on these first. Well, these are 2 different sized ones. The handle are slightly different. It won't matter. I hope. Oh, a little breather. How about a little breather? So don't use my sewing machine. I've been given 3 so far, but I really dig hand sewing. I enjoy hand sewing too. It's very relaxing. That's when I get most of my podcast listening done. But Travis, your output is, I've seen what you do. You make a lot of puppets. That's a lot of hand sewing. I'm impressed. Well done. I'm gonna get my heat shrink and get the handle heat shrink. And because it's hard for me to get, it's weird. It's, again, supply chain issue stuff. Finding the right gauge of heat shrink for the handles is actually hard. So the stuff I've got's a little bit big. It'll still fit, but because of that, I need to the join right here with the handle and the rod. I usually tape that up first, and then I put the heat shrink on just to make sure it's nice and strong. I have a lot of time. Yeah, that's, well done. So what I do is I just take a little piece of gaff tape and I'll just tape the join between the rod and the handle, just to make sure that when the heat shrink goes on, and all the glue from the heat shrink kind of soaks down into this and makes a nice tight seal. Don't want the handle coming off in the middle of a performance or something. Another puppet folks out here, so I need to represent. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure we got too many other puppet folk here in Toronto either. I mean, now that something approaching normalcy is returning, I'm thinking about doing more live stuff, but we'll see. But maybe there's a puppet community in Toronto I don't know about. Highly unlikely, but I guess we'll find out. So, oh, excuse me, I gotta blow my nose. Where did I put it? It's getting a little warm in here, but that's okay. And I'm gonna have to open the window momentarily. Excuse me while I mute the mic, because you don't need to hear this. Excuse me. Okay, so. We gotta get the heat shrink gun. The gun what shoots heat. Everybody loves the gun what shoots heat. Maybe teaching some sewing and building as therapy, local veteran group here. Alternative therapy with art. Awesome. That's fantastic. Well done. I don't know if you're on Discord, Travis, but if you are, join the Operation Puppet Discord and ping us when you're doing stuff like that, and I will be happy to give you a shout out and promote it. Okay, heat gun is plugged in. So I'm going to start with the thin stuff. Well, if you do join Discord, obviously, I don't want to push anybody onto a social platform that they don't want to be on, but if you do join Discord, there is an Operation Puppet Discord. It's basically our own private little, I mean, not private, it is public, but you do join with an account, et cetera, et cetera. It's basically like IRC or an old school chat room, that kind of thing. It started out very much in the gamer community, but it has expanded its remit since then. It is where I'm mostly hanging out now, so if you want to hang out with me, come to the Discord. And quite a few of the people currently in chat are in the Discord. Can you share photos in there? You absolutely can. In fact, I've got a whole channel just for promoter or creator promotion, which would be a perfect place for that. Have you thought about a deflector for the end of your heat gun? No. What's that? Why would I? What are you talking about? I don't know what that is. Why would I want to deflect? Uh-oh. Jamie's posting links. Let's click on the link that Jamie posted. Eklund deflector. Oh, I see. Oh, that's real good. So it moves the heat around so it wraps around the whole thing rather than me having to turn it and like I'm toasting a hot dog. Deflect the Borg, of course. Yes, exactly. That's real good. No, but thank you for pointing that out. I will look into that. But you should hear that. There we go. I know this is tough to see on camera, but it is what it is. Oh yeah, well this is a Black & Decker. I'm sure that I'm sure we can get one. I don't even know if you can hear me without the filter over this. Pretty loud. Let me know if you can understand the words of what I am saying at the moment. Okay. I assume you could hear the heat gun too. The gun isn't horribly loud. Good to know. Pretty loud for me. I wish I could do s'mores, Travis. As an award-winning diabetic, I guess I could probably find some sugar-free marshmallows. I don't know. I could toast some kale. That's what I could eat. All right, so this is pretty much cool enough. That one's got to cool down yet, so let's do the handles. Well, you don't ever beat diabetes. It never goes away, but you can keep it under control, so you don't have to like take insulin and stuff if you're type 2. But that means that I have to be carb restricted for the rest of my life, like forever. I have to be very careful about what I eat. And unfortunately, the one thing I really have to restrict is carbs. That includes sugar. That's the bad news. The good news is I look fantastic. I gotta have some ego, come on. All right. Let's toast up these weenies. Yeah, it's hilarious because, like, I could eat a hamburger, but the problem isn't the hamburger, the problem is the bun. That kind of thing. Yep. Putting the burger between two other burgers is actually an option. Or just having no bun, just having a burger. I believe that's called a Salisbury steak. Or meatloaf. That's what meatloaf is. And I make a pretty good meatloaf. We had meatloaf for dinner last night. All right, there we go. Did you have meatloaf for dinner last night as well with a kale salad? I got to get into kale. I was joking about kale a second ago, but I think I should. I haven't done enough kale investigation. I understand there are ways of preparing kale that are quite nice. I've become a big salad aficionado over the past year. I know that we probably have some mushroom haters in the chat currently because there's some at every crowd. I think JB may be among them. I don't remember, honestly. But what I had for dinner at the restaurant the other night was a warm mushroom salad that was quite possibly the best salad I've ever had. It was amazing. Oh, okay. Well, in that case, JB, I have a plan for our next dinner party because I want to reproduce this warm mushroom salad that they have at the Rhino that was unbelievably fantastic. And I believe I could do it too. It was cremini and button mushrooms sauteed with garlic over salad greens, goat cheese. I know Scarlett and I have talked about goat cheese in the past. Some goat cheese, some toasted hazelnuts with an olive vinaigrette and some tomatoes, or an olive vinaigrette, onion vinaigrette. It was incredible, and I am gonna reproduce it. So, and very filling too. Like, you don't think of salads as filling, but the mushrooms really bulk it up. So yeah, it was amazing. Seriously, we're either gonna reproduce that here or we'll just go to the Rhino because it was so good. Big Choice Collectibles, hello on YouTube. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining us. We're making puppets because that's what I do. Mushroom chops seem like they would make good buns. You're absolutely right. In fact, those big portobello mushrooms, that's what like people on keto diets will use for buns instead of... I really should investigate that. They're a little tricky to get a hold of. Um, all right, it is quite warm in here now that the heat gun was on for a while. So the good news is the next bit is gluing stuff together. So that means the window opens and the mask and the gloves and the barge come out. I could go on a keto diet. There are risks with keto. You don't know what keto is. You induce a state of ketosis wherein your body burns fat instead of carbs, and you go on literally zero carb diet. You lose weight, you sure do, but you put like stresses on your liver and stuff like that that probably are not a good idea, particularly for somebody with diabetes. So, but a lot of recipes for keto diets are also good for diabetics because they're low or no carbs. So I've been having to look at a whole bunch of recipes and stuff like that over the past year for stuff like that. And there's some good stuff out there. What am I doing? I'm gluing puppets together. Oh, first I'm gonna put the heat gun away. Excuse me. We do not need the blaster anymore. What we do need, dun, 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 barge. And some gloves. I'm going to open the window, thankfully, finally. Oh, blessed oxygen. I've forgotten how much I enjoyed oxygen. How long on average does it take to make a puppet? It really, this is probably not going to be a very satisfying answer, but it really does depend on the puppet. A simple puppet, like, here we go. This is a really simple puppet. This is one of my standard models. This was one that I made for Halloween. These are called smalls, S-M-O-L, because of the internet. But a simple puppet like this, I can do this in like, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours, maybe. But there's not a lot to this, right? It's a very simple pattern. There aren't any arm rods or anything because the arms are just designed to flop around. But this is a few hours work. So this is like one day in the shop kind of thing. Create carbs a day for ketosis. Yeah, that's a lot fewer than I'm just low carb. I'm not no carb. So that's the thing. Like with ketosis, you have to induce a state of ketosis. That there's like a threshold past which your body goes into a ketosis reaction. And that ain't for me. If that's for you, then more power to you. But. So a bigger puppet, a more complicated puppet, like a big live hands monster or something like that, that could take 4 or 5 days. I usually spend a week. I give about a week for a bigger, more elaborate puppet. So, but anywhere between 1 and 5 days is the answer. That's if I'm not patterning, if I'm not doing like a new design. New designs, where you have to like, do prototyping and design and all that kind of stuff, that can literally take weeks. Just because there's so much trial and error and you're prototyping and you're iterating. That's just the strict building aspect, which you've got patterns and designs. 1 to 5 days is about average for my puppets. I guess that was a more succinct answer than I thought it was going to be. But that's also because I've worked at making it that. These gloves are old and gross, so I'm not going to use them. When I design puppets for my shop, I do so with an eye towards being able to make them quickly once I'm done, right? Or the iMac doesn't fit in the puppet, so you have to redesign it, like I had to do for one of the Scarlet's builds. Yes. Yes, it's all when you have to do something that you haven't done before, that always takes time, right? When you have to design something new. First we're gonna... Whoa! Thank you, Big Troy. It is cool and it's fun. It is my job. So the fact that my job gets to be cool and fun is pretty good. Not complaining. And you get to have cool safety equipment like this. This is what we're doing. What puppet am I building now? So this, good question actually. Which one am I doing? I'm doing two at the same time. So I'm doing a Nerny and a small. If you know my shop models, you know the smalls are the little peanut-shaped ones, and the Nernys are the sort of the cone head ones. These are both commissions, and I'm kind of building them both at the same time. So we're going to put together. I think we'll put together the small first when we do that. I've already cut the pieces out, so we're just gluing them together. So let me get the gloves on. Oh, I gotta turn the fan on too. Excuse me. Getting the gloves on. I always go to a German accent whenever I put the gloves on. I don't know. Seems like there's a thing happening there. Do not be afraid. This will only hurt a little. All right, let's get the pieces for the small. So here are the mouth plates. And smalls are real simple. They're just two pieces of foam and a mouth plate. And this is it for the small. So would you consider a commission to duplicate a puppet made by another builder? See, I'll say if you're talking like an actual replica, like duplicate, probably not. I will be happy to do a new version of that character, but it would be very disrespectful of me to just copy another builder's design, you know. Also that it may in fact be under copyright, and I don't do copyrighted characters, so it depends is the answer. This is one of Adam K's. He may not be able to make one. Oh, I see, right. Yeah, Adam's in kind of a bad way at the moment. So yeah, if it's already designed, I will be happy to iterate on that design and do a different version of it. I also don't do a lot of original designs. Like I usually do modifications of existing designs just because I already have the patterns for that, so I can keep my costs down. But doing a new pattern is very, very time consuming, and as a result, it's very, very expensive. So it depends on your budget. It depends on what it is. It depends on a lot of things. By all means, get in touch, reach out on social media, or email admin@operationpuppet.com. Have you noticed issues with your puppets' wrists, with your puppet wrists from the weight of the arm rods? Assuming the arms hang when stored. No problem, Wayne T. No problem. No, I haven't actually noticed any issues. My arm rods are quite light. I try to make everything as light as possible, but these are copper-clad steel welding rods. I'm not sure what you're using for arm rods. These are also 3/32 gauge, so they're fairly thin and light, and the handles are balsa wood. So they're quite light, and they don't really cause any drag. You may be using like a thicker Indieski, hello. If you're using a thicker rod, that I can see that sort of pulling down a bit. But no, I've never had an issue. Also, sometimes when I store them, I mean, right now is not a good example. All the puppets behind me have the arm rods hanging down, but sometimes I'll cross the arm rods and lay them horizontally so they're not pulling down. You might want to think about that if your arm rods are a bit heavy and are pulling down and distending your fabric or whatever. Okay, I got to put the mask on. We're at masking time now. Will you be finished building the puppet today? Probably not. My plan for today was to build the internals of the two puppets that I'm currently working on. Then I'm going to get started on the fabrics tomorrow. One of them, the client has decided what fabric they want. The other one, I'm still waiting for some feedback. So I can't start the fabric for the second one today. And we also only have like less than an hour left in the stream. So on stream, definitely not. Off stream, probably not, although maybe. I might be able to do the small today. But stay tuned to social media. I always post the build pics up on Instagram at the very least, which gets filtered out to Facebook. I'm not sure if there's an issue or not. The wrists seem wobblier than I remember. Well, this is one of the challenges, right? Because the wrists should be loose. You want that because you want that point of articulation. But of course, that also makes them weaker, right? So, some good viewer numbers today. Yeah, well, I've seen 5, but I know it's been going up and down. So yes, thank you everybody for. I don't trust that number that's on the restream thing. I think there may be more or less depending on how optimistic I'm feeling. You know. All right, time for the mask to go on. So that means the mic's going to get weird for a second. There we go. I do have a mic on the mask. 11. Wow. Okay, great. Thank you. Oh, I see JB's directly on Twitch. Okay. Yeah, the restream bot is, I don't know, unreliable for recording numbers. I honestly don't even look anymore. Based on how active chat is, though, seems pretty good. All right, Luke, I am your father, etc. So the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to glue the finger loops to the mouth place. Oh, actually, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should do that after. There's always a debate what order to do this in. Purple Cheesecake Zebra is not a bot. You can't fool me. That's the last thing a bot would say. Because sometimes it's better to put the finger loops on after the mouth plates are in, because then you can kind of seat them correctly, but it's also a little bit more difficult. Okay, this may be a simulation, therefore we're all bots. I'm just a complicated AI art generator thing. Something. But no, I think in this case I will put the loops on first, because there's not a lot of room. There's not a whole lot of places it can go. It's just going to go in the middle. So we're going to do that. Finger loops go on first. Commence the barge. Imagine some nice music. Well, I wish I was in New Orleans. I'm not going to do it again. I already did that once. I got to record a new song for this weekend stream. I don't have any new ones. Here's a little preview. I'm going to do Scarlett's request next. Actually, Scarlett had several. I'm going to do one of Scarlett's requests next. I'll leave it as a surprise which one. So for finger loops, I always do 2 coats because these need to be nice and strong. So we got the glue on, we're going to dry it. So get ready to actually hear the hairdryer. Oh. And then I put a second coat on just the leather. Very thin, very light coats, evenly spread. Try not to glop it up. It's like a cooking show over here. And then we dry those. Yes, the small did go flying, you're right. All right, that should do. So we're just going to glue these down. And get them nice and straight. Give them a good pinch. When that glue sets up, these are also the plastic boards that have that sort of waffly texture, so there's a nice kind of bunch of grooves that the glue can get in here. So these hold quite well, I find. There we go. So now we put together the two halves of the small. Do the darts first. I actually couldn't remember what the word dart was. I forgot the word dart. It's been so long. It's only been like a week, but that to me is so long that I've forgotten what a dart was called. Oh dear, are we doing glue puns now? We're at the glue pun stage of chat. I approve. Ha! Commence with the glue puns. Jamie in with the tacky. 2 points to Jamie. I'm like commentating on the glue pun situation. Oh no. I'd call you people incorrigible if I knew what it meant. But that might just encourage you.
When operating your puppet, do you use a glove or your hand while inside the puppet? Usually my hand. The only puppet that I don't use a glove, I actually made an insert for it, is the Kermit that you see back here. That Kermit is built to Jim Henson scale. That's a full-size Kermit. And Jim had really big hands. So that Kermit is too big for when I put my hand in for me to operate properly. So I've actually made a second head, basically, that goes inside. Everything else is scaled down a bit and have finger loops inside. So, for example, when this is the mouth plate, those finger loops go on like that, and you don't need any padding or anything in there. This holds your fingers onto the mouth plate. I hope that answers your question. Keep them coming, by all means. But Kermit famously has no grips inside, so. Oh no! All right, I don't know. I may have to step in here. We're getting to the Rickroll. This may be where I have to shut it down. That's it. Operation Puppet's over, everybody. We hit the Rickroll quantum point. Blame Scarlet. We're on the internet. Oh no. It's just getting worse. This is what it feels like for chat to get out of control. I always wondered. Now I know. Thank you, 7 potatoes more. Thank you. Hope to see you again. There will be more. I mean, I've been around bars without a mask plenty. I can't say I've ever actually felt any neurological effects from it, shall we say? But I have had some weird lung issues in the past year, so I make sure I wear a mask all the time, no matter what. Now. Look, I make monsters, it's true, in a number of ways. If Victor Frankenstein had really terrible taste in shirts, that'd be me. All right, here we go. Hairdryer time again. I may need a bit more glue on the tip of this nose here. Time to glue the two halves together. Doesn't really matter where we start. I guess I'll start at the tip of the nose. Make sure that these line up nicely here. And of course, doesn't hold together. Hold together. Hear me, baby? Hold together, etc. Just make sure that we're nice and even. No frog queasing, you heard him. I don't even know what that means. But I can imagine. All right, now we close the patient. Ooh, that might need some more glue right there. Didn't get quite enough. Here we go. And so now the mouth plates go in. So I was going to make sure I didn't label these. I always label these. This is a slightly shallower one. This is the bottom. So there's a bit of an overbite. So let's do the bottom first. I don't think Scarlett's gonna get that reference, Travis, because we're old and Scarlett is young. And also, I think that commercial campaign may not have run in the UK. You might as well hit us with "Where's the beef?" I mean, come on. Hey? right, guess what? More hairdryer. Scarlett, you may be young, but you're making old person jokes, you know? And I respect you for it. All right, now the delicate matter. All right, that looks all right. I mean, Scarlett, the Wizard of Wiggum is right there. Come on. What are you even doing? Okay, let's have a look. I think that's all the gluing I'm going to do for the moment, so I'm going to close this up.
Oh, turn off this mic. There we go. See? Wizard of Wiggin Woods. You got to reclaim wizardry from that turf. The article endorses you. Here we go. One small. Hello. I have no skin. That's disturbing. Oh, where are we at? 11:36. And the surname Potter, yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Let me think, what am I doing next? Well, since I know what color and fabric this is going to be, I could actually move on to the fabric. I don't want to put the mask back on. I'm avoiding the mask, so I'll put together the Nerdy this afternoon. Let's start on the fabric. Get these out of the way. So this small is going to be this fabric, which is the mac and cheese color from Puppet Pelts. Shout out Puppet Pelts. And this is probably my single favorite color that they have. This is literally the color of the Operation Puppet logo. Also my shirt today. Pretty close. You let me know, Keep. I am always here. I will make one just for you, to your specifications. No rush. You let me know when you're ready. Okay, this has got some wrinkles in it, so I'm just going to hit it with a hairdryer to get some of these wrinkles out. Bunch of jokers, you guys. Once again, I'm going to give my speech. Please don't steal my patterns. I'm showing a pattern on stream. Please. I will find out. And it is a very impolite thing to do. And you will not enjoy the consequences. Don't steal patterns. You don't need to steal patterns. I will help you make your own patterns, even. And there it was. I gotta go through that spiel every time. That way, when, and I do mean when, somebody steals the pattern, I can go back and go, look, see, I said, but you didn't listen. Let's see if I can find a marker that will work with that. That's a little too light. What kind of blue one? I have a blue one of those somewhere. Oh, here it is. All right. This is an air erase marker in that these marks will vanish after about 24 hours. This ink dries clear, basically, which I always like to do because even being super careful, sometimes you can get a pen mark showing through. And that's not good. You don't want that. That's good enough. All right. So now we've got to add our seam allowances. Because this is going to be sewn on the machine, so sometimes when I'm doing this, I don't actually need this dart in the fabric. This fabric will stretch, so I'm just going to go straight down, make this one seam. I don't even use a seam gauge anymore. I just eyeball my seam allowances. As long as you leave enough for the machine, it's good. I do hand sew the dart, though. Darts are tricky on a machine, and I tend to like the results I get better if I hand sew them, so I do take that time. There we go. Now we pit it and cut it. Yes, you would have to take apart your greeblies. Do, 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 do. It's true. I am. It's a good thing I'm not a capitalist because I am basically educating my competition, right? But it's fine. We're all a family. For the most part, puppet folk are good folk, generous, kind, and don't steal things just because it's wrong. And we were raised on Sesame Street. We understand that stealing is wrong. You want to talk about a new up and come? Not new. He's not new, but boy, have his skills gone up. Richard Gomez, who is on our Discord, friend and colleague. I've been seeing some of the stuff Richard's been working on lately, and it is just blowing me away. Richard is so good. I'm not going to say I'm jealous, but I'm a little jealous. Well, that's the funny thing, right, Scarlett? It's like the reason I ever found out that somebody nicked one of my patterns before was because another builder went, "Hey, I think this is one of yours, isn't it?" So, it's just not worth it. Okay, time for the good scissors. I know I'm standing up and therefore out of frame. Enjoy my shirt. Yeah, it is true. Like you do definitely recognize. Like everyone's got their own signature style, right? And even though like what I do is I'm intentionally doing very Muppety things, but they're still kind of, you can tell one of my builds, right? You can tell a Luna's. You can tell, Travis's work. You just know after a while these little signature kind of stylistic choices. The three fingers is a key giveaway. It's true. I'm not the only one who does that, but one Phil Fletcher is actually fond of the three finger thing. The secret is we do that because we hate fingers. Making fingers is not fun. It is also very much a stylistic choice. It's got a nice alien vibe to it that I've always liked. Even when I was a kid and I would like draw monsters and things, they would always have the two fingers and a thumb. Because they're still like evolutionarily functional, right? But they're just not human. Extra members of the Muppets, exactly. How about that? Speaking of Muppets and the future, I'm sure most of you have seen my potential revelation. Where are we at? We're almost at time. We can just go back to chatting. That the Greebly I got to use, or Greebly, there's a Freudian slip. The Fraggle I got to use as a kid may actually still exist. That and may be actually up for oxygen. Oxygen. What? Too much barge. See, this is what barge will do to you. Auction. Non-speaking sag rates. Yeah. Oh no, Travis! When I see your work, I know right away that's one of Travis's for sure. But again, that just takes knowing, right? I mean, every time, like a Ludus puppet, for example, Kevin Gorby's work, every time you see a Ludus puppet, you know that's a Ludus puppet. But you do have to kind of be around a bit to get that feel, right? Um, Aussie Works is another example that I can think of that has a very distinct vibe to it. But everybody does after a while. Everybody's got their own thing that they do. Um, yeah, you know how much that Fraggle was going for, Travis. I wish I had the money to be able to even think about putting in a bid. That was also, it was like £200,000, which is like $3,500, or 200. I should say 200,000. Um, and I don't know who would buy that other than a museum, because I don't think private collectors are that. Uh, yeah, no, it was like £200,000, so closer to 350,000 Canadian dollars. Like, yeah. And that was the reserve, right? So that's if it doesn't hit that price, it doesn't sell. It goes back in the vault, as it were. So they may have just been overestimating, or they don't actually want to sell it, so they set a reserve price that's really high. Um, yeah, no question. That's a lot of money, but just the fact that that's probably the one and it survived, and I got to find out about it through a very circumstantial set of events just lining up, just blew my mind. I still can't quite comprehend the level of coincidences. It's a good thing I've been watching a lot of Matt Parker videos lately. They also sell the Statler and Waldorf heads. Yeah, the same company. That's the prop store in London. Um, Only those Statler and Waldorf heads were not original. Well, they were original, but they weren't like the Henson era heads, because they used to hand carve all of those ones, like Miss Piggy and Statler and Waldorf and all that stuff were all hand carved and then flocked. But that's a very, very time consuming process, of course. So they went to mold casting. And those Statler and Waldorf heads are mold casted ones. So I think they're more recent than the Henson era ones. I can't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure that's what they were. Um, but again, those will survive because when you've got flocked foam, the foam just degrades and then the whole crumbles into pieces. Whereas the ones that have the fleece over them, the foam will last a bit longer because it's more protected, right? It doesn't have the photo degradation, which is another reason why that Fraggle survived, because it was in like a climate control case. Um, so even the fact that it's the original foam is the thing that's blowing my mind, because like that shouldn't have lasted for 39 years. You know, take care of your puppets because they can last. They just probably won't, but still that's wild. If you haven't watched that video, go to the YouTube channel and check out one of my. I guess it is the most recent video, the vlog, the follow up to the Fraggle story, because who would have ever guessed? We're 9 minutes towards ending. I gotta do some stuff that is off the stream, so. Could you process the Fraggle with DNA and clone the master? Yeah, I know. I think I may. I talked about this, I think, on the Discord briefly, but I haven't planned to make any more Muppet replicas now that I've got my Kermits. But I think maybe that wouldn't be a bad just for me. It's for a me thing, for my personal little collection here. I'll make a replica of that Fraggle, because the photographs from the prop store, they've got lots of really good, big, from every angle, high def photos of it. So I could probably make a pretty decent replica from that. And I think that should be on my list, right? Because that is a key moment in my puppet journey, So I think that may be on the agenda for a future stream even. It wouldn't be for sale, it would be for me, so it's okay to make a replica. But yeah, just wild. I think we're probably going to end there because I got some stuff to do, and I'll be carrying on with the small and the Nerny. Got to poke my client to see if there's a decision on the fabric. That would be nice to know before the end of the week. Yeah, well, thank you, everybody. This was a lively chat day today. I like that. It's encouraging. I think it's important, and I agree, that I try and do this on a more predictable schedule. I'm gonna see about that, because clearly it would encourage more viewers. And I mean, I'm happy with the numbers of the bill streams are great. This I'm totally happy with, but also for the Frankie Play streams. Speaking of which, Jamie, I'll be in touch if you're still around. And we'll figure out what's going on this weekend, if anything. If anything, even if the guys aren't available, I will still do a Frankie Play stream this weekend at some point. So, as always, join. Wait, hang on, I gotta do the thing. I should make a button for the thing. But no, I'm typing it in like a sucker. Join the Operation Puppet Discord if you are on Discord. You are most welcome there. It is a nice little friendly place to hang out, unlike most of the internet. So there we go. You built a Fraggle replica last year. Yeah, well, Fraggles are fun. I mean, my Greeblies are heavily influenced by Fraggles. Fraggles are the best. I love them to pieces. So anyway, folks, thank you. I'm going to go and do my things, and then I'm going to have some lunch, and I'll be carrying on building this afternoon. Hope you are all well. Hope to see at least some of you on the weekend Frankie Play stream. And as always, stay tuned to all the socials. All except Twitter. Yep. Thanks, folks. I'm going to end it now. Have a good day. Have a good weekend if we don't see you. And I will hope to see you next time hitting the right button.